Today, I am trying something new. Not just new for me, it's something pretty darn new. This is Draw Your Own Adventure by Chloe Rose Art. It is, to my knowledge, a mix of a coloring book and a prompt book, and it's just filled with fun, good stuff that seems very in my wheelhouse, so I wanted to give it a shot. There's a narrative that is going on between the pages, which I think is really cool, and I'm going to read the introduction and all of the prompts just so you get a bit of an idea of what's going on. For thousands of years, artists have abandoned their sketches. Incomplete artwork and doodles are left to collect dust, creative potential with nowhere to go. These incomplete drawings get sent to the lost sketches realm, and if you aren't careful, you may find yourself drawn to its doorways. These doorways are sometimes disguised as a simple sketchbook, and the only way to escape it is to complete it. You have been warned. You find a small bookstore in a quaint town. The book spines appear blank, so you draw the spines to look like some of your favorite books. In the middle of the stacks, you notice a red book. Drawn to it, you pick it up. So I think you can kind of get the premise going on of the storyline. The main goal is to finish the book, and it kind of goes linear, so I'm going through and I'm putting down the names of some of my favorite books. I don't think you can read it just because my camera quality isn't great. Some of the staple ones are Watership Down and The Last Unicorn, The Little Prince, Howl's Moving Castle, Yotsuba, also The Thief of Always. That is one of my favorites. I drew a cat just for a little bit of visual variety. I initially started out with watercolors, which, by the way, watercolors bleed a bit. Not a huge amount, not the amount that you would get if you did markers, but you can kind of see the pores of the page on the other side. Like you can see little whispers of color. It's not enough to bother me. But this page particularly, when I tried to do it with the watercolors, it just seemed very faded and not how I wanted. So I ended up going over with colored pencil, and I did not do this on camera because I kind of defaulted to my natural drawing state, which is, if you know Peanuts, if you've ever seen when Snoopy does that vulture pose, that's what I look like when I'm drawing if it's not on camera. And I couldn't do it in any other position. I couldn't. So I finished this page off camera. And this is how it turned out. I am reasonably happy with it. I think there are some things that I would do differently. I have drawn many a bookcase in my life, and never has it turned out quite the way I wanted it to, but all things considered, I am pretty happy with this. So we are moving on to the next prompt, which reads, "In the blink of an eye, you are drawn inside the book, and met with a strange-looking bear with bad fashion sense. Hello! My name is Bear Lynn. You opened my sketchbook. I've been trapped here in the Lost Sketches realm with no way out. I tried to buy another sketchbook without completing the last 4 I had, so this one has me trapped until I finish it. Please help me complete my sketches so we can both get out of here." For Bear Lynn's outfit, I decided to do these patchwork wizard robes that I see on Pinterest a lot. It didn't exactly turn out the way that I wanted it to, but I'm reasonably happy with it, and I like all of the colors. I also decided to make Bear Lynn a black bear. They're pretty much the only bear that you would see where I live, so I don't know, it's the first one that came to mind. When I think of bears, I think of black bears. So I have some time to talk in between coloring this, just because I'm not really sure what else to say. I never know what to say, and I should really start scripting these things, but then I would come off too stiff. I don't know. I feel like I come off stiff enough already just in my head. It's one of my goals this year to try and upload at least one video a month, and we'll see how that goes. I think it's going to be easier for me to upload just because I know I can upload this as a series on top of whatever else I want to do. I was considering trying to do a live stream whenever I hit 200 subscribers, which is kind of coming up. I was thinking of doing something of either just me drawing and chatting, or trying to do something like Drawn to Life while chatting, which, if you don't know, it's a Nintendo DS game where you draw the elements for it. So you make a little character and you draw platforms and stuff. Oh hey, would you look at that? Bear Lynn's done. wow. I'm pretty happy with him. Because I use those pearlescent paints, there's a couple of spots that I missed, but I went back in later, so if that was something you noticed and was really peeving you, don't worry, I fixed it. Don't worry, I got you. The next page says, "Suddenly Berlin is gone, and in his place, a bizarre bouquet of balloons, birds, and floating rockets appears. Attached to it is your favorite possession. You know, the first thing that you'd save in a fire if you had to. Once you're done drawing it, the balloon rocket bird bouquet shoots off into the sky with you holding on." So, when I do a think about my favorite possession, there's not a ton that comes to mind, and funnily enough, mine is also a stuffed rabbit, which is what Chloe Rose's was as well, which is kind of fun. But yeah, it's a stuffed rabbit from Gans that I know for a fact I got at Easter when I was around 4, and yes, I have celebrated her birthday ever since I'm 4. I'm 21 now, it's coming up. I think that's what, 16? 17. What? Holy moly. And you know, creative 4-year-olds giving names. I named her Gray Bunny. I was very literal. Here's her with me now in our aged forms. When I think of things that are important to me, there are things that are like photo albums, some extremely sentimental stuff that I wouldn't particularly want to draw just because it's like family stuff. And then things that like aren't possessions. So I would immediately run and save my cat. And it was also almost an impulse to like draw something that's his favorite, but honestly, if there's a house fire, I don't think I could lug his whole cat tree down no matter how much he would have wanted me to. That was getting a little off topic, sorry. Well, not really, but that wasn't really about the drawing. After drawing Gray Bunny, I decided to draw my little Sona guy, like, clinging on to her, because it's, like, the floating away bit. I tried my best to kind of replicate the style that was already there, which is, you know, like, puffy, thick outlines. And then we are moving on to the color, which I once again chose to do with watercolor, but this time, instead of using the pan that I had been the previous time, I switched to a different pan that has some more vibrant colors. The pan that I was using before is one that I got at either like a Tractor Supply or a hardware store or something along those lines when I was in the 7th grade, and I've just been using ever since. I am stubborn as a mule, and I will not give up on things. The worst part about this palette that I'm using now, though, is that it doesn't have its own little mixing palette. It does have this flimsy piece of plastic, which I think is meant to be more of a protector than a palette, but I did end up using it to mix my colors. It's just not my favorite. I like the lid in the other one that I have, even though I don't clean it nearly as much as I should. Anyways, yes, I went very multicolored, very rainbow, very bright with this. I thought it was fitting, and in the end I'm quite happy with it. I did my best to keep same colors from touching. There is one situation where 2 blues are touching though, and it is kind of driving me insane. But that's the way it goes. Ugh. So these are the only 3 that I'm doing in this video. You're gonna have to stay tuned for the next one to see what else is coming next. In case you were wondering, this one is my favorite of the 3 that we've done. I hope you enjoyed this style of video, and hopefully you can give me some grace in my not so great camera work or editing work or voiceover work. But don't worry, before I go, I will give you a little sneak peek to what the next prompt is. Slowly, the balloons begin to pop and the birds fly away, and you're left on the ground. You notice a woman in red looking out at what used to be a beach. It seems faded away. You take it upon yourself to bring back the ocean and sand. Then you draw a picnic basket on the swing next to the woman. Alright, so I hope you're excited to see what we do with that and the next 2 prompts, which I will not be spoiling today. And I will see you all later, or I won't. You never know. You can drop in if you feel like it. And that's all. Bye!